Welcome to the A Game. I'm Rainey Dellinger.
And I'm Allie Powell. On this week's episode, we will look at how the football team played against Texas State, how the volleyball team performed against Troy, and how the women's soccer team played in their Sun Belt tournament. We will also take a look at the upcoming men's basketball season.
The football team got the job done last week against Texas State. The Bobcats got off to a quick start, scoring within the first minute of the game. However, the Mountaineers were quick to respond with a 32-yard touchdown pass from Zach Thomas to Miller Gibbs. The first quarter ended with Brendan Harrington's interception and the first pick six of the season for the team.
In the second quarter, the Bobcats closed App's lead to 4 points. Zach Thomas would later on lead the offense down the field to the goal line where he would cap off the 75-yard drive with a 1-yard pass to Caleb Spurlin to push the score to 21-10. Chandler Staton would end the half with a 33-yard field goal, and with the Mountaineers heading into the locker room up 24-10 over Texas State.
The third quarter was fairly uneventful with neither team scoring, but the fourth quarter saw Zach Thomas earn his third passing touchdown of the game with a 9-yard pass to end a 91-yard drive. Texas State would score once more in the game to close App State's lead 31-17. Cameron Peoples was the last player to score in the game, rushing into the end zone for a 32-yard touchdown. The game ended 38-17 and pushed the Mountaineers' record to 5-1 and 3-0 in conference play.
The App State offense was electric on Saturday, with Zach Thomas recording 3 touchdown passes, which moves his career total to 60 passing touchdowns and moving up third overall in Mountaineer history. Thomas also recorded 168 passing yards, which moves his career total to 7,157 yards and moves him up to fourth overall.
Dietrich Harrington rushed for 113 yards in the game, which marked the third game rushing over 100 yards. And as a team, the Mountaineers rushed for 258 total yards, which marks the fourth straight game where the team rushed over 250 yards.
Miller Gibbs had his first career receptions, including his first career touchdown off of a 32-yard pass from Thomas. Trey Ross also made his first career reception that came from a 17-yard pass from Thomas. Zach Thomas completed an impressive 18 passes to 10 different receivers, including Nate Noel and Caleb Spurlin.
Spurlin, who is a former walk-on, is a part-time fullback for the offense, but usually plays as a defensive back. Spurlin recorded his first career touchdown off of a 1-yard pass from Thomas.
The App State defense also had an impressive game on Saturday. After getting off to a slow start, outside linebacker Brendan Harrington intercepted his third pass of the season and ran it back for a 49-yard touchdown, which was the defense's first touchdown of the season. Shamar Jean Charles entered the game with the most pass breakups in the FBS with 12. Jean Charles also had the second interception of the game off of a fourth down pass by the Bobcats. These 2 interceptions increased the Mountaineers' total interceptions to 97 since 2015, which leads all other FBS teams.
DeMarco Jackson recorded 10 tackles against Arkansas State, which beats his previous career high of 9 tackles. Jackson also had 2 pass breakups, including 1.5 tackles for a loss, which is another career high for the linebacker. Demetrius Taylor increased his career sacks to 16.5 with his sack against the Bobcats last Saturday. True freshman Jalen McLeod also recorded a sack in last week's game, which marks his second game with a sack this season.
Linebacker Tim Frizzle started for the second straight week. Frizzle earned his career-high 5 tackles in the game. Jordan Earl made his first career start recording 4 tackles, which ties his career high, and DeAndre Dingle-Prince made his App State debut recording 2 stops for the defense.
After last week's win against Arkansas State, the Mountaineers increased their win percentage to 86.8% against in-conference teams. This places the Mountaineers 4th overall in FBS behind Clemson, Alabama, and Ohio State. App is 59-13 overall since entering the FBS in 2015, which has the team at a winning rate of 81.9%. This puts the Mountaineers 5th overall in the FBS behind Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, and Oklahoma. Zach Thomas is a 28-4 as a starter for App State after last week's win, which puts him at 2nd overall in FBS quarterback wins behind Trevor Lawrence of Clemson.
The team will be back on the field here in Boone to take on Georgia State this Saturday. The Panthers are 3-3 this season and have been very inconsistent in their past couple of games. The Panthers did beat ULM last week 52-34, but with a weak defense that allowed ULM to put up 34 points, should see the Mountaineer offense put on a show.
The volleyball team took on Troy last week in a 3-game series. In the first game of the series, we saw Kara Spicer record her 1,000th kill in the opening set. Spicer ended the game with 9 kills and 8 blocks. Lexi Kohut also helped lead the team with 15 kills in the game. Grace Morrison was able to add 10 kills, and McCall Denny recorded 8 kills and 12 digs. Sophie Kane almost had a double-double, recording 34 assists and 9 digs. And lastly, Emma Riley led the team in digs with 17.
In the opening set, Troy got off to a quick 10-4 lead and never looked back, taking the first set 25-19. App was able to take the lead early in the second set 4-0. The Mountaineers pushed their lead to 10-5 later on in the set. The Trojans kept chipping away at the Mountaineers' lead throughout the set and were able to pull the game to 22-20. Troy scored 2 points to bring the game to 1 point, 23-22, but the Mountaineers held strong and scored the necessary 2 points to secure the second set and tie up the game.
The third set saw the Mountaineers jump out to another early lead at 9-5. Troy would later go on a 14-2 run to take the lead to 22-12. App fought back hard to bring the score within 2 points at 24-22, but it wasn't quite enough as Troy scored the last point needed to take the third set 25-22 and go up 2-1 in the game. The fourth frame remained close until the Trojans went on a 4-0 run to take a substantial lead over the Mountaineers at 20-15. Troy would then push their lead to 24-19, but App would fight back and save 5 match points by scoring 6 straight to take the lead 25-24. The set would continue to go back and forth until Troy was able to land 2 straight points to break the 35-35 tie and win the last set 37-35 and take the first game of the series 3-1.
The second game saw Kohut record her third double-double on the season with 19 kills and 11 digs. This is Kohut's fourth time recording at least 19 kills this season. Denny and Spicer were able to chip in 7 kills each, while on defense, Morrison recorded a career-high 13 digs and 6 block assists. Kane recorded another double-double with 34 assists and 12 digs.
The opening set of the second game stayed close until Troy scored 3 straight points to take the lead 20-17 over App. The black and gold brought the game back to 1 point before the Trojans scored the necessary points to take the first set 25-22. Kohut helped App take the early lead in the second set with a kill to make the score 8-4. Troy would later take the lead to 12-11, but App was able to respond with 3 straight points to take a 14-12 lead. App State went on a 5-0 run to push their lead to 20-14 and never looked back from there, taking the second set 25-20.
App went on an early 5-1 run to take the lead at 10-4 in the third set. Troy would come back with scoring 13 points to App 6 to take the lead 19-17. App was able to save the game twice, but the Trojans were able to get the last point they needed to take the set 25-23. The fourth frame, App jumped out to a 12-7 lead over Troy. After a Trojan service error and a block assist from Kohut, App pushed their lead to 13-8. The Mountaineers were able to stretch their lead once more to 19-13 until an 8-1 run by the Trojans saw them take the lead 21-19. The Mountaineers tried to regain their lead, but their efforts fell short as Troy won the fourth and final set of the night 25-22.
One of the key players from the third game against the Trojans was Grace Morrison, earning her first double-double with 10 kills and 10 digs in the third game. Kara Spicer also added 10 kills of her own, with Wilform and Kohut contributing 6 kills each. And Emma Riley led the team with 17 digs, while Sophie Kane led the team with 33 assists.
In the opening set, App took a small lead at 9-7 until Troy bounced back with 7 straight points to take a 14-9 lead. App would later come back to decrease the Trojans' lead to 17-16 and later jumped ahead at 20-19 after a 4-0 run. The game would later be tied at 22-22 until Troy would score the 3 points they needed to take the opening set. The second set saw App go on an 8-1 run to take the lead 10-3. Troy would close the lead to 10-8 before App pushed the lead 18-11 and eventually took the second set at 25-17.
The third frame saw App tie up the set at 4-4 before Troy took a slight lead at 13-11. Troy would use a 9-1 run to further their lead to 22-11. Troy went on to score the last 3 points and take the third set at 25-14. The fourth set saw the team stay close in the early parts until Troy went on a 4-0 run to take the largest lead of the set at 14-11. The Mountaineers would continue to fight back, but were not able to take the lead as Troy went on to win the last set 25-17 and clinched the third match of the series. App is now 1-10 and will finish their regular season next week against Coastal Carolina with a 2-game series.
Last week, the women's soccer team kicked off their Sun Belt Championship play against ULM. The team went into halftime down 1-0. Izzy Wood scored her second goal of her career off of a Mary Perkins through ball to tie the game up 1-1 in the 46th minute. App State would get 16 shots off in regulation to ULM's 9. The teams were unable to break the tie at the end of regulation, which sent them into overtime. At the end of the first overtime, the teams were still tied, which meant they were going to play a second overtime. Tess Carney sent in a corner kick in the 108th minute that was knocked into the goal by Jordan Gribsby to win the game for the Mountaineers. This meant the team would go on to play number 1 seed Arkansas State.
2 days later, the team took to the field again to take on the number 1 seed Arkansas State. The Mountaineers had 21 shots taken against them to their 5 shots. Carrie Eagleston helped the Mountaineers stay in the match after an early goal by the Red Wolves in the 26th minute. Unfortunately, the top-ranked defense of Arkansas State proved to be too much for the Mountaineers as they were not able to score. The team put up a hard-fought match, but their Sun Belt Championship hopes will have to wait till next season after falling to Arkansas State 1-0.
Welcome back to the A-Game. The men's basketball team has released the conference schedule that will start in the coming weeks. The team will play 18 conference games and will only play teams from the East Division of the Sun Belt. Conference play will start January 1st when App will host Troy here in Boone. The Sun Belt tournament will be played in Pensacola, Florida on March 5th through March 8th.
The non-conference schedule was also announced last week. The team will play a total of 9 non-conference games, with 5 of the games being played here in Boone. The team will start their season on November 25th, where they will travel to South Carolina State. The second game will be played in Boone against Carver. App will also host Bowling Green and Carolina University in their home territory. The Mountaineers will later travel to take on Charlotte, Tennessee, and will start their series against Auburn.
The Auburn series, which was recently announced, will see the Mountaineers travel to Auburn this season and in their 2023 to 2024 season, while the Tigers will come to Boone for the 2022 to 2023 season. Head coach Dustin Kearns said, "We want to elevate the profile of App State basketball, and scheduling is one of those ways we will continue to do it." Auburn played in the 2019 Final Four and is nationally recognized basketball program and university. This will be a tough matchup for App State, but will be crucial in improving the App State basketball program. Up next, we will take a look at our Mountaineer Spotlight.
This week's Mountaineer Spotlight is Caleb Spurlin. Spurlin came to App State in 2016. He started every game in 2017, where he played on special teams and also as a defensive lineman. In the 2017 season, he had 9 tackles and recorded his first sack. In 2018, he played in all 13 games, where he recorded 21 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 3.5 tackles for loss, 1 fumble recovery, 1 forced fumble, and 1 blocked punt. His career high of 4 tackles came against Arkansas State in 2018. In the New Orleans Bowl, Spurlin helped stuff a fake punt against Middle Tennessee. In 2019, we saw Spurlin play in all 14 games, starting with Georgia State, performing predominantly as a defensive end. Spurlin finished the season with 28 tackles, 1 pass breakup, and 1.5 tackles for loss. He would help out as a defensive tackle when the team needed it, especially against South Carolina, where he recorded 2 tackles. So far this season, Spurlin has recorded 8 total tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 1 touchdown, which came in last week's win against Arkansas State. Spurlin usually plays on the defensive side of the ball, but has started to see some action on the offensive side as well. In high school, he played on both sides of the ball as a tight end and a linebacker. After playing on defense the past 3 seasons, head coach Sean Clark started to give Spurlin reps at the fullback position. Keep an eye on the offense and defense this season for Caleb Spurlin as he helps App State win another Sun Belt championship. That's all the time we have for this week. I'm Rainey Dellinger.
And I'm Allie Powell. Make sure to follow us at the A-Game Sports, and we will see you next week on the A-Game.